coming here is a risk. Like, I got dengue fever, that fucked me. You don't get that in England. It was pretty scary leaving behind the safe, predictable life. I could have had a very safe, comfortable life and not take any risk and be pretty secure. And I really wanted to take life and make it my own. It was more than just Lincoln. It was more than just have kids here and die here. I knew I wanted more than that. I've sold everything. Everything I have in the world is with me. I shit myself. Yeah, I didn't know how to communicate with them. I didn't know how to set realistic expectations. And there was like all these old guys. And here I am, little James. And I stood up and I got home. And just straight away I remember thinking like, fuck, this is not the life. Like, some people, I'm like, I don't want to be anything like you. My eyes have been opened.
Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Creating Freedom. Today I've got one of my good friends here, James. So James, we like to start off our show and we like to ask the question of what does freedom mean to you? How do you concept on that? How do you feel about it when you hear freedom?
So, for me, freedom is the ability to live life on your own terms. And I was thinking about this morning. You've got freedom. You've got physical freedom, time freedom, thought freedom, and financial freedom, right? So, for me, freedom is, can I wake up in the morning and can I just decide what I want to do? Can I don't know, go surfing? Can I do a boxing lesson? How much control do I have over my day? And that's where like you got financial freedom, because if I'm gonna have a boxing lesson, that's money, right? If I'm gonna have physical freedom, then there's a lot of implications involved with that. So career and money, and yeah, that's what freedom to me is.
Yes, it sounds like it's just all aspects of it, right? So the time, the finance part of it as well, and then just headspace, right?
Headspace.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, for any, like, look, tell us a little bit about yourself, right? Introduce yourself for people that are watching. You know, what's your name, where you from? Tell us.
Sure. So I'm James. I'm 23. I do software development as a consultant, and I used to play guitar, and I was going to go into that. And then I guess we'll touch on this later, but then 4.5 years ago, I started doing software development, and I initially picked up web development with the intention to go into the digital nomad thing. And yeah, here we are now. I do full stack development for a firm out in Texas, and we're developing software that'll allow you to make like the next generation of AI, and that is what brings me to Bali.
Perfect. And so, where are you from?
England.
England.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
Yes. It's where I'm from. It's a place called Lincoln. So it's maybe 2 hours north of London, and it's a good place if you want to have a family and just do that. If you want to go down like the normal path of like a 9 to 5, family, kids, you live there, you die there. But if you want to have an adventure and meet like-minded people who are maybe more free thinkers, then
Sorry.
then it's not the best place in the world for that, but it is really good for knuckling down. And it got me here. It got me here networking. It got me here with my friends and with a mentor. And yeah.
So it sounds like pretty early on you wanted to do this digital nomading thing, which you just mentioned before, right? When did that occur? Because you were growing up in Lincoln. You know, was there a trigger moment where you just, you know, how did they even come across? Because digital nomading is, it's either someone inspires you. I know you do a Google search or whatnot. How did it work for you?
It was during COVID. So speaking June, July 2020, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was very good at guitar, and I was going to go into being a session musician, but I just didn't want to move to London or move to a city. And I always knew I wanted a life where, I could be in a warm environment all the time. And I just knew what I wanted. It was more than just Lincoln. It was more than just, I'm going to live here, work here, have kids here, and die here. I knew I wanted more than that. And so during the pandemic, I picked up the 4-hour work week, which I'm guessing you've had a lot of guests talk about that. And that really taught me, like, there's a lot more to life than just doing the same old, repeating after each generation. And I really wanted to pave my own path, I guess. Take life and make it my own. And so reading the 4-hour work week taught me that, especially if you're in Asia, you don't need as much money as you do if you're in the West. And so then I started looking at Bali and at Thailand and Australia. And I was like, I just inspired because I could wake up and I could go and surf, or I could wake up and I can, I don't know, go through the jungle on a motorbike. And there's all these opportunities. And I just remember, to go full circle and answer the question, if I could figure out a way how to make money from my laptop, then the world's my oyster, and I could actually have a life that I want to live and create my own path. And so, yeah, I picked up the 4-hour work week after being inspired by like a few YouTubers and stuff, and then it answered the question of, what do you want to do when you're older? And that's not, I want to be a lawyer or a doctor, or in my case, a musician. It was, what type of life do I want to have? And there we go. So I read the 4-hour work week, and I discovered a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos. How do people do that? And how do they make an income? And I realized guitar is not the way to go in life.
Yeah, and I want to go deeper into that, the whole music side and the guitar part as well. Like, how did you get into that? Why did you think that was I guess that was a goal that you had, right?
I've never been interested in having status per se. So like, people want to be a doctor or a lawyer because it's status driven, right? For me, I always just wanted to do things that spoke to me, and for the majority of my life, guitar spoke to me. My granddad was a musician. My dad heavily influenced me to go into guitar. And at college, I studied music, and I loved it. It taught me creativity and just how to express yourself. Yeah. It's one of those things where I'll always do it, but I don't want to rely on that to craft my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to rely on it. It's something where I love it. I could pick up a guitar at the beach down in Canggu and I just watch the sunset, play guitar with some of the locals, and we'll just sing, which is really good.
And charade women on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, I
Serenade women. Yeah, which has worked a couple
I
times.
always wanted to learn how to play guitar just so I could be like that romantic person, just that play that guitar and just sings to some girl. But unfortunately, I can't play the guitar. I can't sing. So
You can try to sing.
I mean, I'm trying to attract someone. It's like they're gonna end up running away when they hear me.
You're gonna expel them, and then they're just gonna run over to him.
Yeah, then I just serenade them, long blonde hair, guitar out.
That's why I stuck to fighting. It's like punching someone in the face. You know, maybe girls like that as well. Watching me punch someone else in the face just so we get that straight. Oh, yeah.
So I guess like not. Yeah, I think you pretty early on you were like that. That wasn't going to sustain you. Being
Yeah. So in year 7 at school, it was great to get out of French class. So I'd always schedule my guitar lessons at school when I had French, and it was great to kind of learn who I am. I remember when I was a teenager, it taught me a lot just about, you can be good at something. It doesn't have to be school. Like, I got shit grades when I was at school. I never did well. But then I was by far the best at guitar in my year group. And there was this one thing which, like, if I put all of my efforts into this one thing, I can be really good at it.
Yeah. And so where was the connection between the guitar and software development, web development?
So my mum had her master's in computer science. So I was always exposed to that. I failed computer science at school, but 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 that was just bad teachers, and they didn't really show what you could do with it. Um, yeah, the connection was, I was always heavily influenced by tech growing up. Um, and it's the creativity, right? Guitar, if you're writing music, is very creative. And with tech, I kind of realized during the pandemic, like, web design, web development, like I can be creative with that. And then if that unlocks the door to make money remotely and to be able to travel, then I'm going to pursue it. And initially, I was going into machine learning, which I can't do the maths required for that. But then what I wanted out of my career was something creative where I could express myself, and if I could work with other people, great. And yeah, so web design, web development, and initially it was that for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years.
So when you started doing that, did you have it in your mind that you can actually use that to create more freedom?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that in your mind in
Yeah.
the beginning.
So a message from, as I told you both before we started, my mentor Bobby at home. I remember it was 2021, I think. I sent him a message because he asked me what do I want from my career, and it was to be earning X amount and what type of lifestyle do I want, and it was remote, be able to live on my own terms, which I don't have many time commitments, and so I can usually live life on my own terms. And yeah, it was be my own person, and yeah.
Yeah, that's it's very interesting because that web development, yes, you have that design aspect of it where you can be creative and whatnot, and then you've got the development side, which is another skill. So I can see that working. Now, your mum and dad are probably going to be watching this as well. Yeah, and it's interesting because your mum's like a mathematical computer science person, and your dad's like a guitar person,
He
music.
was a teacher as well, though.
He was a teacher as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Teaching what?
So he was a head teacher
Okay.
primarily throughout his career. He was climbing the ladder, going into being a head teacher. So initially, when I did computer science at uni at one point for a year, and as the only dropout in the family, like with my mum being a lecturer in computer science and my dad being a head teacher, like it took a lot for them, but they let me have a gap year to pursue like working for myself initially as freelance in like web development, web design, and which maybe that was an opportunity from COVID because obviously it was dangerous to be going out in public and everything at that point. But it was really that year that was so transformative, in letting me have a year to just grow my skills, grow my freelance business at the time, and see what I can make of myself.
And how did that go? How was it a tough little thing you did? Was it easy for you? What was freelancing like?
It was tough trying to make money for working on my own terms. I was only 18 or 19 at the time. And it was really tough, but it taught me a lot about networking, and you need to have the skills, right? It's one thing having the skills, but it's also another thing networking. Like, I could be a diamond, but if I'm just buried underneath some sand, then no one knows about my worth, and no one really knows who I am. So it taught me grow my skills and be the best I can possibly be, but then also network and, you know, let other people know about my skills. And I remember there was a networking event I went to, and I would have been, I think, 18 at the time, and there was like all these old guys, entrepreneurs, and like 40, 50-year-olds, and here I am, little James, and I stood up and had to do a speech on what my business was, and that was terrifying, but it was such a defining moment in, like, I need to put myself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you did that because, yeah, I've been to those networking events as well when I'm younger, when I was younger, doing the same thing. I think it's just a journey that you have. And, you know, like I'm Asian, so like when I was doing that 23, I looked like I was 16, yeah? Like coming in, and you look a young fella as well, and you look young as well. But I think like those people have like the greatest intentions, and like they have such a big respect for you doing
For
it.
sure. I remember there was this one guy, Nick, his name was, and like I ended up doing some work with him, and I knew he could tell I was just at the start of my journey, and he could tell I was really nervous. I was stuttering a lot when I was speaking, and maybe my body language wasn't there, but he could see like the little seed that was growing in me. And yeah, I remember the opportunity from that. Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me, what was the moment when you got paid? How did that feel?
My first £1,000, it was amazing because to me it showed that I can do something myself. Like I failed computer science at school. I think at the time maybe that was after the gap year, and I was studying computer science at uni for the year. But it showed me I can I can do something. I can take my mind, apply it to something, and I primarily am self-taught. So besides networking, it's me who's got myself here. It's not university or college or anything. And yeah, that first £1,000, it taught me that I can I can apply myself to something and I can make it work despite some people telling me I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because you failed computer science, right? And web development, like you're self-taught,
Mm.
right? I guess when you had your first sale, the first project that you had, right? Were you shitting yourself?
I was shitting myself. Yeah. I didn't know how to communicate with them. I didn't know how to set realistic expectations, and there was a lot of lessons where maybe I quoted it wrong. I quoted it I don't know, per page instead of per hour. There was things like, oh shit, am I good enough? And I guess, Simon, this is something I speak to you a lot about, like imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome was strong, but just proving to myself, like taking each obstacle and just taking it, going through it bit by bit, prove to myself that I'm worthy and that I can do a good job. And like looking back at some other websites I've done, like they're really good. They've brought the client a lot of money, and yeah, I guess bit by bit you kind of prove yourself to yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, it is a I mean, it is self-development. Like once you get that first sale and you're talking about imposter syndrome as well, that's huge. You just have to go get over it, right?
And that's the problem with being self-taught. Like if you go to university, you have a professor or you have a grade telling you like, hey, you're so good, you got an A or a B. And no one was there telling me I was good enough. Like besides my mentor and my parents who believed in me and saw what I was doing, but you know, facts had to be involved as well.
Yeah, so certainly you got a great environment, a supportive environment around you, right? I guess your mom being a computer scientist, did she help? Help? Could she help out with that, or was it completely different field?
She helped to plant the seed because she used to run a freelance agency back when I was like 10 years old. And so she taught me networking a little bit. Like she helped with that. She helped with the web design. My dad helped a lot with how to communicate, and they're gonna be happy hearing this. Um, but they definitely helped a lot with it was mainly communication. I just didn't know how to. I was 18 or 19. I just didn't know how to hold myself with clients, and I think my first clients I got from them, it was like a free project.
Yeah.
I think when you're starting out as a freelancer, like it's a good idea to do free projects because then you just get a reputation. And yeah, I remember they put me in touch with that couple. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I remember when I started as well, similar situation where I don't know if the right word is like they felt bad for me or sorry for me or whatnot, and they're just like, look, I'm just gonna give this guy a chance and see what happens. And turns out like that first client that I had, I'm best friends with him. He's actually in Bali. He comes it's 3 times to Bali every year.
Nice.
Been friends last 7, 8 years now. We just get on, but you took a chance and it worked. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if you're young and to an extent you've got a point to prove, then you're gonna prove that point. Yeah.
I feel like the younger you are, the more that they know that when they take a chance, like they know stuff is gonna go wrong, right? As opposed to like now, where if you're further along the journey, the expectations are much higher, and you're gonna nail it. But yeah, I guess being young, you can use that to your advantage as well now.
Yeah. So the client I've got now, I was introduced to that through my mentor. My mentor's friend put me in touch with the CTO who's in Italy. And even now, I'm only 23. Like, for the work that I'm doing, I'm like by far the youngest in every team that I'm in. But they see that, right? They see that I'm self-taught. They see that I've had to fight to get here, and I've taken like maybe 1 or 2 silly risks. But they see the passion, and I think especially in young people, if you can back your skills and your knowledge and show the passion and like, I'm gonna fucking do this, then they're gonna take the leap of faith. And you have to prove to that every day that, I'm honoring your decision, and yeah, that is a good decision to make.
Yeah. So now you've brought these skills, to Bali, right? Why Bali? Were you exploring different options in different areas, or?
So initially it was going to be Australia, but I came to Bali. I don't even know why. I came in May. I just wanted to, I think, see something different. And in Australia, I've not been, but from what I've seen, it's like the UK. Like, there's a lot of similarities.
It's a Western country, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, this is only 6 months ago I first came here. And at the time, I was working for a company in the UK who would only let me be overseas for 3 months a year. So I used 2 of those months in Bali over the summer, and it was eye-opening in the sense of there's a group of men who every Saturday we're at the beach, we're meditating, and we do breath work, we do things like that. During the week, I do a lot of boxing with yourself, Simon.
That's how we met.
That's how we
We
met.
were boxing. I punched him in the face, and from there he loved it.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle, everyone here that you talk to, most of the people that you talk to here are on a similar path, that they're growing, they're trying to improve themselves. Like, they can see a vision for what they want in the future, and like they're working towards that. And I think all of those things just stuck with me about Bali specifically. And even the locals, the homestay I'm in, like, they're lovely, really sweet people. And the life you can have here, if you're like aiming, I've got a friend, his business is called Aim a Little Higher, but if you're aiming a little bit higher, this is a great place to do it.
Yeah.
There's no better place in the world from what I've seen. So I went home, depressingly so, in July. I was like, right, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Do you remember me saying to you I was gonna come
Yeah,
back in
I remember
November?
we were sitting down and we was talking about the freedom life,
Yeah, yeah.
and you was looking at everybody else living this life. And I remember you sitting there saying that, you know what, I want to do this. You know, I've got to figure out a plan. And we were sitting there trying to figure out an idea, what you can do.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really impressed with. Because obviously, he's young enough to be my son. But he's like, I remember you having this plan, and you went home, and it was always like keeping in touch and seeing how things going. And you were so determined that you were going to come back and you were going to make this happen. But I must say, I didn't know that you were going to turn it around so quickly. I thought it was going to be like a year. I thought I was giving you a year.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, man. So like you left home. I mean, you left Bali. You went back home, and tell us about that. How that worked out.
So,
Sounds depressing already.
yeah, it was really hard going back after I'd had a taste of freedom, after I'd had a taste of like, I can have this life. I've got the right skills. I am the right personality to be able to figure out a way to get the freedom to have this life for as long as I want. And so I remember before I flew home, I'd left Bali and then I was in Bangkok. And when I was in Bangkok, almost the whole time, I was working because I was like, I need to do this. I'm going back in November. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I'm going back in November. I just knew in my soul. And so I go home and it was amazing because I really did miss my niece and nephew. They're only 3 and 5. And when they're that young, they change so quickly. So it was really good to see them both. It was really good to see some friends. It was really good to see my family. But I just knew, like, this is not the life for me. I remember in Lincoln, where I'm from, there's a couple good coffee shops where you can work, and there's my gym where I can work. And I'm someone who I need like a different environment quite often. And yeah, so I got home and just straight away I remember thinking like, fuck, this is not the life. Like I'm looking around and I'm just seeing people. I'm gonna upset some people by saying this, but I'm looking around at some people. I'm like, I don't want to be anything like you. Like I wanna, my eyes have been opened. I've seen people who are more like me, who are working on themselves, who are progressing. That's not to say people in England aren't doing that, but the majority of people here are doing it. Here I can surf, I can be in the sun, I can be generally I'm happier. And so it kind of sucked my creativity a little bit when I got back. And that changed the direction of a few things. But yeah, I got home and straight away I was trying to like figure out a way to make a good income where I can be overseas all the time. The company I worked for at the time, they would only let me be 3 months a year overseas, which is not enough. Like to be stuck there for 3/4 of the year. No.
I think that was the company just for 3 months that they would lose so many people because people would travel for 2 months and have that realization. I think it's a pitfall.
Maybe it's a very bad idea.
It's a bad idea to do that. Yeah.
Just though,
Give people leadway.
people have kids, they have mortgages, they have responsibilities. So for most people, they don't even take advantage of it, let alone like try to maximize it and actually get more. And so I was in a unique position because I'm so young. Like I don't have any responsibilities apart from myself. There's no reason for me not to be overseas all the time. And I remember like I was trying to extend that, see if I could get more time overseas, and it didn't happen. Naturally with bigger companies. So I was like, right, I need to work for myself. I need to figure out a way I can, I don't know, get an income by myself where it's on my terms, and then I can decide where I want to be in the world at any given moment. And so just by chance, I met someone at my gym. I was on the phone to a recruiter for a different job, and then I put the phone down, and this guy is just sat in the corner, and he's like, I know someone. I'm going to introduce you and see what comes of it. And just the power of the universe, I guess.
That's what I was just thinking. Is
Yeah.
that, you could have been anywhere, You was at spot at the right time,
Yep.
and that person was there.
Yep.
So again, carry on.
And so he introduced me to the CTO for my client, and there we go. I had the conversation with the CTO. He was like, "Yeah, you're really passionate. I can tell." He's probably listening to this. If I shared this on LinkedIn, he'll be listening to this. So, but yeah, he could tell that I was passionate, and he could tell that I knew enough to be able to hit the ground running pretty quick. And yeah, so there we go. I think within 3 weeks of landing in the UK, like I'd secured the client and kind of, for lack of a better word, my get out of jail free card was there. And so yeah, I worked on that client for a couple of months and then booked the ticket and came here. It was never an intention to not go back, but I'm thinking like the more time that I'm here, I'm just gonna keep exploring, and I think through travel you kind of learn more about yourself and you explore the world, but you also explore yourself, right? Like it opens different doors.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, when you made the decision, I guess, to come here, what your mum and dad think, right? And some of the people, your friends as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my friends all knew that I wasn't happy, like in what type of life I could have, so they're all really happy for me, and so is my family. But I remember I had a conversation with my parents, and my mum said like, she said, "I want you to just be safe, and I want you to be happy, but I'd like you to come back at some point." And I remember her main thing was go and be somewhere where you'll be happy and just be safe. That's all, which is really good. And I'm not just saying this, which is really good to have a mum say that to you, which is like, go over there, go to 13,000 miles away or however many miles it is, and just, make sure you're happy. And I've got a text message of my dad saying this to me, and he said, he raised me to be like this. He raised me because when he was a head teacher, he was very forward thinking, not following like the normal teaching rules. He was like the first to bring in technology to his school. And he said he raised me to be like this, to kind of think for myself, not just, I don't know, work at a normal job which is safe and predictable. So yeah, they were happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they were quite progressive and sort of forward thinking, like you said.
Yeah, sure. I mean, your mum was texting me saying that, make sure you look after James.
She said that to you the other day, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah, man. So what was your thoughts? How was your feelings when you like booked that ticket?
It almost didn't feel real, in the sense of like, in 6 weeks' time, regardless of whatever happens, like, I'm going on that plane. I have no idea when I'm coming back. And it's like, I remember when I landed, and obviously our friend picked me up from the airport, and we went out for dinner, and I was like, yeah. It was pretty ceremonial, I guess, because the first time we went out for dinner when I came back was the Brazilian, and that was the last place that we went for dinner before I left to go home in July. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was very exciting because I was like, I have no idea. I still have no idea when I'm going to go back and see my family or my friends. And it's exciting because it might be two years, might be 3 years, and you kind of just get to see how much you grow and what can you achieve.
Did you have any nerves like before?
Yeah.
Like, what was your nerves like?
I've sold everything. Everything I have in the world is with me, apart from a guitar and a box of childhood things. And that was pretty scary. It was pretty scary leaving behind the safe, predictable life, because where I'm from, it's easy. Like, I earn enough money. I could have had a comfortable life with... I shouldn't say that. I could have had a very...
Say it.
No, I'm going to...
Say it.
No. I could have had a very safe, comfortable life. And not take any risk and be pretty secure. And coming here is a risk. Like, I got dengue fever, that fucked me, and you don't get that in England. And yeah, I think it was. Sorry, what was the question? My
No,
brain
it
just
seems like he went all in. Like I think the
Yeah.
biggest, the biggest, some of the challenges is like is making that decision which you did, right? And then the other one was like going all in. When you got half a foot somewhere and you got half a foot somewhere else, like you're always struggling, yeah.
Yeah,
But
the
you
two
had
worlds.
Have you heard the Charles Bukowski poem?
Yeah.
It's no, I wouldn't read it. It's if you're going to do it, go all in. It could mean losing your mind. It could mean sleeping on park benches. It could mean losing your friends and your loved ones. But if you're going to do it, go all in. And I'm only 23. It is like sometimes it does hit me. It's like fuck yeah. It's scary being so far away where I've got some good friends, right? But it's still like I'm still settling in here.
Yeah.
And I just think, fuck it, because what have I got to lose? The most I've got to lose is I go back home, I get I shouldn't say this if I'm sharing it on LinkedIn, but I go back home, I get the same old job, and that's my life. It's predictable and it's safe and it's comfortable. So I've got that anyway. I may as well take a leap because worst comes to worst, I go back.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's not the worst
No.
sort of situation to be in,
No.
right?
And that's what a lot of people say about. I'm a consultant, so I wouldn't say I'm an entrepreneur, but that's what a lot of people say about working for yourself in any sense is to take the leap because what's the worst that's going to happen? For me, I've got a family who love me and I know I can go back home and I can figure it out. Take the leap.
Yeah. And so when you did come to Bali, did you have any, not doubts, but did you have anything in your minds in terms of like, making friends or connections? Because you came essentially, by yourself.
It felt like coming home. Yeah, it felt like
He's coming back to me.
it felt like where I grew up is my home in the sense of my family's there, my loved ones are there, my friends are there, and it's obviously where I grew up, right? But coming back here, I remember the minute I landed and my friend picked me up from the airport, I was like, I'm in the right spot. This is where I want to be in my 20s to grow and really, get that next step. I've achieved all of my goals that I set out to achieve when I decided I was going to do this. And so this feels like the next chapter and it kind of it feels like home. So it was a little bit scary, but I'd do it 1,000 times over.
Because it was a little bit easy when you think about it, because Dave was asking that when you're coming out here, like you're on your own.
Yeah.
The first time you came here, you already made friends. You had me and the rest of the lot. So it's like, as soon as you come out, one of us will come and pick you up at the airport.
Yeah.
Then you came straight to the restaurant.
Mm.
And it's like, in a way, it's like you never left.
No, it's like I never left, and I'm staying in the same spot, and they're really sweet. They're very loving. And yeah, Anna picked me up. We went out for dinner straight away. I already know what gym I'm going to. I know the roads around Canggu well enough to know where everything is. Even at the surf school that I go to, they were like, James, my brother. And yeah, it was pretty familiar. Yeah. It's like I laid the foundations in the summer, and then I just come back to it.
So now you're here, yeah? Right, you got over all that step now. I mean, do you have any new thoughts? What's your thinking like now? Now you hear that.
It's I feel like I'm taking each day as I go, and I'm just letting the universe just speak to me in the sense of, okay, I've done everything that I laid out to do when I first got into tech, and now I'm just kind of trying to, I think, cultivate is the word, or manifest what I want to do. And it's good because I can grow. For me, I always think like if I can get 1% better a day, then I'm going to be solid. And coming back here, it's like, okay, let's grow. Let's see what opportunities there are. And obviously, we're talking about doing a charity in the Philippines. And I've got a couple ideas of my own to do. And yeah, it's good. I think there's a lot of opportunity to be had.
Yeah. So what are you working on now? So that's one of them is that, what's it look like for you sort of moving forward and the future?
Sure. So one thing you have taught me, Simon, is to give back. And I think if you can help other people, to help other people. And what I'd like to do would be to kind of teach other people what I've taught myself, right? So I've taught myself how to code, but then I've also taught myself what is not necessarily hand in hand with being a software developer, which is the soft skills, communication, networking, even how to show up for yourself. And so what I'd like to do would be to launch a business where I can teach other people how to code, teach other people how to network, and how to position yourself in the right place to be able to have a life and have freedom where you don't have to go to the office in a place where you don't want to live, to pay for a house, to just keep repeating the cycle. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to be able to live life however you want to live. And I think it's a shame people who can do it but choose not to, and they wonder why they're depressed. So I'd like to inspire other people how to do that and teach them how to do that.
Why do you want to do that? Is it based on your own experience?
It feels purposeless to not do that. Like, you can make more money, but obviously you need to make sure your basic requirements are met and that you're investing for the future. And for me, hopefully one day, future kids. But like life is pretty sad if you are just working to pay for a nice car or pay for a bigger house. I don't want to do that. Like, if I can wake up, know that my requirements and basic needs are met, and for the future, then the next valuable thing would be to help other people and to figure out a way to maybe leave a legacy and leave it better than you found it.
We always have a chat on another podcast with someone. We were saying about having worth, feeling worthy in life. So some people just wake up, go to work, come home. It's the same scenario, but it's like, what's your worth in life? Is that, how can I say this?
What do they write on a gravestone?
Yeah,
they write father, teacher, doctor, son, brother. They don't write Lamborghini owner. Who the fuck cares? Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, what do you bring? It's like, because some people they have no worth. It's like, so let's say if I was a father, I got my kid. That's the reason I'm alive, to help my kid grow, this, that. Whereas some people just wake up and it's helping someone else's business grow.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing back for yourself? What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing for the world? What are you doing for others?
And that's not to say you don't need to do that, because you need to make money to pay
100%.
the bills. But if you can, like, for me, my career is in a good spot to the point where I'm hopefully going to be okay financially now. And so what's the next valuable thing? It's not to make more money. It's help other people get out of bad situations, or even just to have a life where you can be free. It's so important. Imagine if, I don't know, like what you've done with the Bali kids. When was it that the village burned down or something?
Oh, the orphanage. Yeah, the orphanage burnt down. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if you can teach those kids the skills to be able to maybe live in a safer environment where natural disasters might not happen, then that's the best way forward. Yeah.
And so is that teaching them how to code? Like, is this like people back at home, or is this more, a different type of charity?
Can I jump on that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So those who are watching and know me, that I've done a lot of work in the Philippines. There's a lot of the kids that live on a rubbish dump site. And obviously, me and James, we sat down and he's seen a lot of the videos, what I do. And he's had that heart thing where he wants that giving back. And it's, with the kids there in the Philippines, giving them that opportunity, giving them the tools that they can create a better life for themselves. And he's got them tools that he can actually hand to them kids. So them kids that, learn these tools, they can start making their own better life. So, that's the idea that we had.
And even if that's instead of coding, it's maybe networking or how to, I don't know, just generally how to better yourself to try to get out of whatever position they're in.
Also, this opportunity as well. Opportunity. Yeah. So, man, a lot of people watching.
Yeah.
I hope a lot.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about your life, because a lot of, I think we touched down on this for a little while, but it's like, you live out here in Bali. A lot of people, they look at our lives in Bali. Explain what your day-to-day is like in Bali.
So,
because like everyone here, this freedom life. Is that, show them.
So my client is I work European hours primarily. So I've got every morning and every early afternoon to fill my time however I want. And so that's during the week. I'm going to be surfing. I'm going to be boxing. I'm just going to go to the beach and journal and meditate if I want to. It's really good. And for me, when I'm working, I struggle to work just at in one static environment. I like change. And so there's lots of good co-working spots here. And there's lots of good cafes. So in the afternoons and the evenings, I'll work. And it's amazing because there's so many different environments for me to work in here. So that's that. Then obviously weekends, we'll go on adventures, won't we? We'll go into the jungle, we'll go to Uluwatu, or even Saturday mornings, I'm at the beach with the guys meditating. And I'm trying to, I've only been here 3 weeks, but I'm trying to figure out.
So I'm just laughing because I can't believe you've only been here 3 weeks.
Feels like I live here.
Feels like you live here. It feels like I forget that you went home and you come back and it's like, when you say 3 weeks, I was like, shit, it's only been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'm trying to figure out just the way that I can live my life where I can work on the next chapter, I can work on myself, but then I can also do things that I enjoy. And I think doing new things is really good because it keeps the brain plastic. It keeps you fresh to mold to new things. And I think that's really important. So I tried skating, and boxing for me even is new, and overcoming the mental barriers. And that's the mental barriers in doing new things like this podcast, or mental barriers in boxing. Because during training, so many times I say fuck, I just need to overcome it mentally. And my day-to-day life, I'm trying to keep fresh and exciting, and then just laying the foundations. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just laying the foundations for being open to the new opportunities. Yeah.
What opportunities, I want to get at, what opportunities have you, come across in this environment, right? Especially Bali.
So, Simon, you have shown me the opportunities of the charity work side of things, and exploring what I can do down there, hopefully one day. Just the conversations that you have when you talk to people. There's a co-working spot which is really good for networking, and there I talk to people who are in crypto. I talk to people who are building some software that hopefully will change the world. And I think just letting myself be inspired by hearing people's stories is one thing. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. And what are your goals for 2025 as we come into it? Yeah.
I want to. It's not going to be an overnight job, so I say this is for 2025. Is I want to keep doing my consulting, because that is looking after me. That's making sure I can improve my skills. It's really hard, but I can improve my skills and get more knowledge in tech. And I think it's really cool building some software that I know will change the world, and I'm at the forefront of that. I think that's really cool. But then I think also on the more charity side, I would like that to get into place. I'd like to hopefully travel and see like the kids in the Philippines, like you said, and start maybe some sort of workshop or something where maybe, I don't know, for 3 months I can teach the kids something that will help them make a little bit of money and hopefully get a little bit of freedom. I want to, this time next year, if I'm in that position, I'll be pretty proud of myself. Yeah. I think I just want to take where I'm at now and start laying down the groundworks. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, none of that is, none of that happens overnight. It is all the actions accumulate over time. And, yeah, I'm sure you'll achieve it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like we're backed you. I'll back you.
Yeah. I mean, tell you the truth, I don't know, we was talking about this before. Did we say it in the podcast? This one. 'Cause you had goals that you wrote down before and you blasted them all off, yeah?
So those goals were goals in the gym, it was goals financially, it was goals in my career to work for myself, which consulting, you are working for yourself. And yeah, my mentor Bobby, he asked me, man, what was it? Maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that. He said, like, what do you want? And I've achieved all of those. I remember before I came out here, when I was emptying my room, I found an old notebook, and this was like pre-pandemic. I was just figuring out, what do I want to do with my life? And the majority of those I've ticked off. Some of them are like way too ambitious, like earn £1 million a year. Not quite there yet, but the ones that matter, like have freedom, be able to travel, for the most part, work on your own terms. Yeah, smashed it.
That's brilliant. Just writing it down and it coming to life, isn't it? It's a bit crazy.
Have the conversations, because the people you talk to, you have no idea where they will get you. Like, you're not gonna achieve anything just by yourself. It's gonna be with other people, right?
100%. We meet people at the right time for the right reasons.
For sure. Exactly.
Now, so if somebody, what would you, for people that are watching that maybe, might be as young as you, yeah, that might be in a position where you were previously, any advice that you would share with them would?
I think I said this earlier on, is to just be 1% better a day. And write down, yeah, if I was talking to my 18-year-old self, I would say, write down what you want to do, reverse engineer that. In the 4-hour work week, it's called dreamlining, but reverse engineer your goals and just do 1% a day, because then you're going to achieve it. It's impossible to, like, you're not going to get it just by wanting to do it. You're going to get it through actually doing it. And so if I say, like, over there, I want to walk there, then I just need to take 1 step a day, and eventually I will get there. And that's what I would say to my younger self. Yeah.
It's a bit like a law of attraction. It's like a lot of people get on it, because law of attraction became a trend years ago, and everyone was like, yeah, if I just think positive, it will happen. It's like, no, bro.
No.
You got to fucking make action, You got to make something happen. And I think that's a lot of things that people missing. And I think with a lot of people we have on our show, it's them people who talk action. It's all great thinking they're positive and all that, but it's action.
Yeah, and persistence, because it's not going to be easy. If anything that's worthwhile is not easy, like Jordan Peterson says, the treasure is buried beneath the dragon's nest. And in Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone is under the school, and you have to face Voldemort. So like you have to persist and work hard and be open to networking and any opportunity that might come your way, and fight like hell, because then you'll get it. But like, yeah, the gold is beneath the dragon's nest. It's not in front of you.
I knew you was a Harry Potter fan.
Of course I am.
I just had that feeling.
I'm 23 from England, of course.
I know I forget, Harry Potter. That, oh, jeez.
That's crazy. Because I'm still thinking that $1 million will drop on my head. Yeah, I think that. But it ain't happening.
I'm going to catch it, though. I'm going to be like...
You have to conquer the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite quotes, actually, I don't know if I said it before, but I can't remember who says it now, but the cave that you fear most holds the treasure that you seek.
Yep.
And it was that thing that really stepped up my game from, I think, was the travelling thing. It's like, I got to that point, I'd done everything in England, everything I wanted to do, but I needed something else more. And, one of my mentors said to me, like, years beforehand, he said that you need to go and travel, you need to go buy your own. He kind of said it in a good way, because it's like, I always feel like I'm a man looking after myself, but if I ever fall, yeah, my mum and dad will be there. I might even have certain friends there to catch me, but it's like, when you go traveling, you're on your own.
By yourself.
And whatever it is I was looking for, I knew I was going to find a home in England, and I had to take that step of going and travel and going out into like a whole new world.
And
right now I'm enjoying my life, man. I'm enjoying the treasure,
Meaning is found through difficulty and hard work.
That's right, 100%.
You're never gonna find anything valuable in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so, just to wrap up, I want to know, at the beginning of you said, like you're a web developer, you moved to like, I don't know, is it full stack that you're doing now?
Yeah, so I do full stack development now, and when you have these AI models, they require a lot of really powerful hardware, right? You need like really powerful graphic cards and data centers and all of that stuff. And so what I do is at the moment, I'm doing the backend development for how can people come to us, take our hardware that we've got, and how can they plug into that? And it's called like virtual machines. And how can they plug into that and control the software? How can they use the software to develop the next generation of AI? So that's what I'm doing at the minute. Yeah, it's really exciting because the AI models you'll have a year, 2 year, 3 years from now, like I have a part to play in that, which is really cool.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to pretend I understood what you were talking about. It's not in my head.
It's like a gym for the body. I'm providing the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Just to dumb it down for you.
Yeah, you have to dumb it down for me, man. When it comes to computers and stuff like that, I'm like a monkey with a calculator. So.
Yeah.
But I'm catching on. I've been living in Bali. Like everyone's on this tech thing. I'm more old school.
First has to get a computer, yeah. And there's the on and off button. We're still teaching him, yeah.
You don't have a computer.
Well, no, it's like I'm still using the one finger thing. Like even on my phone, I'm like, no, that's a joke.
And so, so I guess if anybody wanted to get in sort of touch with you.
Sure.
Brian?
So on Instagram, it's at jberesford, JBERESFORD. Or on LinkedIn, if you search my name on LinkedIn, I think I pop up straight away. So just search James Beresford, and hopefully big things will be coming. Yeah.
100%.
Cool.
100%.
Man, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Legends.
It's been a pleasure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that show. If you have any questions, feel free. Press like, share it with a friend. But anyway, guys, till the next episode. Thanks again.
Ciao.
Thanks.